Glad you said that because oftentimes PTSD is really talked about when we talk about military individuals.
Yeah.
Right? That's where we most commonly hear that term.
Hmm.
But PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, right? So it's after a trauma. So it's just not something that happened into the military or something, or like these big traumas, like a car accident
Hmm.
or, death or something like that. But as we talked about, rape is a traumatic experience. Sexual
Oh,
molestation
yeah.
is a traumatic experience. It changes who you are physically and psychologically wise. Your brain gets reshaped, as I was already shared. So, with that being said, one of the things that I realized in my life is that my relationships prior to my husband just were all ending in a bad space. And yes, I began to, you know, point outwards and say, oh, it was the guys, it was him, it wasn't this, it wasn't the right time. And yes, all of that could be true on the surface. And I'll use an example of a tree. When you look at a tree, you're like, oh, the tree looks beautiful, but there's a couple of rotten fruit on the tree. Let me just pick those rotten fruit. You can prune it, but if you don't deal with the roots, then the tree will not produce good fruit on anything. You can keep pruning, you can keep picking the bad fruit, but if you don't deal with the roots, then you're never going to get a tree that's going to produce 100% good fruit. So that same analogy is how I can describe what I began to do with myself and looking at me being in this relationship. So I say that to everyone else. If you see yourself not having good fruit in all areas of your life, but the story seems to be repeating itself, but with a different face or with a different job or with a different relationship, then begin to look at the root of the issue and take a step back and analyze yourself and be honest with yourself that maybe there's something that's going on deep, much deeper, because roots are deep, than what is on the surface. But that can only happen if you are really willing to do the work.